The United Kingdom has had quite a few controversies surrounding its territorial status over the past decade. In 2014, residents of Scotland rejected a proposition that would have seen Scotland leave the UK and become an independent country. Then, a mere 2 years later, British citizens voted narrowly to leave the European Union in the infamous Brexit referendum. Well, now it seems that the UK is experiencing yet another dispute over matters of self-determination and sovereignty. The Orkney Islands are an archipelago 10 miles north of the northernmost point of the Scottish mainland. These beautiful islands are populated by 22,000 people, a plurality of whom are concentrated in the old city of Kirkwall. Last week, the Orkney Council voted to explore alternative forms of governance, the most striking of which was referred to as the Nordic option. Indeed, the leadership of the Orkney Islands is seriously considering ditching the UK for Norway. This begs two questions. First, why are Orcadians so thoroughly dissatisfied with the UK that they no longer want to be a part of the same country? Second, why Norway? Despite its small population and remote location, the Orkneys are rich in resources, home to large North Sea oil deposits, numerous hydroelectric green energy power sources, fertile land for agriculture, and some of the world's finest whiskey distilleries. The Orcadians feel like they are not properly compensated for what they contribute to both Scotland and the UK. The Orkney leadership has complained in recent years that they do not receive adequate funds for basic infrastructure, especially transportation, from either the devolved Scottish Government in Edinburgh or the national government in London. The Orkney Islands have a fascinating history. Originally settled by the ancient Picts and Gaels, the islands came under foreign occupation following the Roman conquest of Britannia. As Roman influence in the region declined in later centuries, the Picts were dispossessed by various North Germanic peoples. The exact nature of this dispossession is not well known, with some historians positing that it was a natural process with little bloodshed, and others arguing that it was a full-blown genocide. In the 9th century, the Kingdom of Norway annexed the Orkneys, as a response to Viking raids originating from the islands. In 1468, the Earldom of Orkney was offered as collateral by Norway to the Kingdom of Scotland as a means of securing the promised dowry for a royal wedding between the daughter of the King of Norway to the Sovereign of Scotland, King James III. Norway was unable to pay the dowry it had promised. As a result, Scotland annexed the archipelago in 1472. Scotland was later absorbed into the UK in the 18th century, taking the Orkneys with it. The leadership of the islands became infuriated with the UK in the 1980s, when the government in London attempted to build a controversial nuclear power plant. The local leadership wrote letters to the King of Norway, asking him to intervene in the matter, arguing that the status of the archipelago was not constitutionally settled due to the odd way it was absorbed into Scotland and then later the UK. This was a fascinating legal argument. Orkney's local government was banking their objections on the premise that under international law the land should be viewed as a disputed territory that Norway ought to have a claim to. We now see the same effort gaining steam again. The Orkney Council is examining its options and potentially preparing a legal argument for why it should belong to Norway, based on the theory that the original 15th century transfer of land was not valid under present-day standards of international law. If the International Court of Justice were to rule in favor of the Orkneys' hypothetical claim, it would set an extremely consequential precedent. There have been countless land acquisitions in history that would not abide by modern international law, opening a Pandora's box of new claims. For what it's worth, the Norwegian government has made it clear that they have no interest in intervening, claiming that this is an internal matter for the UK to resolve. Moreover, the Prime Minister's office in London has already put out a statement arguing that there is no existing legal mechanism for the Orkney Islands to change its status under British, Scottish, or international law. It seems highly unlikely that the Orkney Islands will ever be successful in its effort to join Norway. Regardless, the action has strategic value. Trying to become part of Norway is a great way of grabbing attention for a region that rarely gets any headlines. If enough national sympathy can be garnered for their current situation, the Orkney leadership could use the newfound attention as a form of leverage in negotiations for more funding from both the Scottish and national governments. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, I would ask that you please subscribe. as I plan on making more content like it. Also, please hit the thumbs up button and comment below with any thoughts that you have on the topic.